Welcome to the Talking True Cases podcast. For our repeat viewers on YouTube and listeners on Spotify, you'll probably be realizing that I neither look nor sound like regular host Mark Williams-Thomas. That's because Mark is on leave today. But what we wanted to do is go live for a very important podcast. My name is Jody Doherty-Cove, and I've been working with NQI often in the background since its launch. And today we're speaking with Andrea Garsala, the mother of missing Georgina Garsala. Andrea and I often spoke often. One second, I think we've got something that was playing there. Andrea and I often spoke at the Argus newspaper in Sussex as a journalist, and we're speaking once again today on the week that marks the 5th anniversary of Georgina's disappearance. Before I bring Andrea in, though, I just want to set some of the background. It was a Wednesday morning, like any other, when mother of two, Georgina, went to a local convenience store in Worthing, a seaside town on the south coast. That was March 7th, 2018. Tuesday this week marked 5 years, or 1,826 days, that she has not been heard from or seen ever since. On the day that she went missing, Georgina had arranged to meet her father after collecting a mobile phone, but she did not turn up. She was last seen on CCTV in a shop in Clifton Road at 10:30 a.m. A second unconfirmed sighting at about 4 p.m. places her walking down Chapel Road with an as yet unidentified woman. Sussex Police launched a murder inquiry in August 2019, and 2 men were arrested on suspicion of murder, but later released with no further action. The charity Crime Stoppers is offering a £20,000 reward for information. And Sussex Police's Superintendent Andy Wolstenholme spoke earlier this week on the anniversary of her disappearance.
We've attended over 900 homes and properties. We've spoken to well over 2,000 residents in Worthing and beyond. We've taken over 2,000 reports and statements. We've examined well over 100 exhibits. We've made extensive appeals using our social media, and also we've worked with the media across the country. I've been hugely impressed with the work that Georgina's mother, Andrea, has done on social media. There have been a number of searches that have taken place in this case in connection with Georgina. There are 9 nominated scenes, all of which that have been examined, and also 27 physical searches that we've undertaken in places in Worthing. Now, when you consider how long it has been, we have to consider the possibility that she's come to harm, possibly at the hands of someone else. I took the step to record it as a homicide after we'd conducted extensive proof of life inquiries, and we were unable to find any trace of Georgina being alive and active after that 7th of March 2018. The investigation has never been closed. We remain as committed today as we were on day one to finding out what happened to Georgina.
So, how does a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend go missing without a trace? Someone, somewhere must know what happened to her. Andrea is Georgina's mother, and she's speaking with us today amid a fresh appeal for information. Andrea, thanks for coming on.
Hi, thank you, Jody, for inviting me today.
No, it's great. I mean, I've had the pleasure of speaking with you, Andrea, over the years as a reporter with the Argus in Sussex, and I've always been full of admiration for the relentless campaign that you've led to find any information about Georgina. It seemed to me that not a week would pass without me seeing, something about your latest efforts to find people to come forward. So, I guess just to start with, tell us about what's kept that flame inside you sort of burning for 5 years now.
Well, how can a mother give up on a daughter? That's what I always think, how I can't just give up on her. And if I don't do anything, if there's some days where I don't do anything, I feel guilty, or I feel sort of like I'm letting Georgina down. But so it's a constant role for me to keep thinking, what can I do next? How can I present this in a different way to attract attention of people, and just to keep Georgina's story out there. I do realize people scroll through and think, she's been missing 5 years, and it's probably not interesting to them. A lot of people, they followed it since day one, and they're really dedicated to Georgina's case. But for me, as a mom and a grandmother to Georgina's boys, I'm just passionate about finding the answers. I can't get on with my life and just think, we'll leave it to the police, and one day they might have answers, and just get on with my life. It's not something I can do.
And the campaign, has been absolutely relentless. And as I said, I'm absolutely full of admiration for what you've done over the years to keep Georgina's name in the spotlight. I remember once actually where you scaled the walls surrounding Teville Gate building site in Worthing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but witnesses reported seeing two men with Georgina near the site, sort of on the evening that she went missing. I think we actually have a clip of that. Jamil, would you mind playing that quickly?
Sussex Police and Worthing Borough Council. Who said nobody could get in here? I can climb over this fence. Careful. If I can climb over here, who else can get over here? I've climbed over in 1 minute. That's how long it took me to get in here. How long could it take anybody else to get in here? We want answers now, Worthing Borough Council and Sussex Police. This isn't good enough. I want to find out where my daughter is, and I'm not getting any answers, and I want some answers right now.
So obviously that was a long time ago now, but just for the viewers who are watching along and watching that for the first time, just give a bit of background, a bit of context as to what was happening there.
I mean, a while before that, the Teville Gate demolition sites had been carried out, and I kept getting messages from people saying, Georgina went missing the same week as the demolition. The car park was being demolished and the Teville Gate. And I remember one weekend, I was getting quite a constant sort of flurry of these messages, and I don't think I slept all weekend in the end. I lay in bed there thinking it over and over and over, processing it and emailing the team on the weekend at night saying, what has it been checked out? What about the safety aspects of it? Do they, when they go in each day to do some more work on it, do they then carry out a health and safety check to make sure nobody's in there? There's just these thoughts were just constantly going through my head all weekend. I don't think I slept, and obviously I didn't get a reply at the weekend, so I was like almost going crazy by Monday. I just wanted somebody to tell me about it, and they got back to me and they just said, well, we've got there's no knowledge or intelligence that Georgina was seen there, so we can't just search it. And I said, well, Clifton Road is about 5 minutes along the road. She was seen there. There was a sighting there of her that night by a witness, and he said he'd seen her, and he actually knew Georgina, and that's how he identified her. And that's only it might not even be 5 minutes, the Teville Gate site. So at that time, I just wanted the police to search it, do a search just to rule it out, for me, to give me peace of mind, because at the time there was actually buildings due to be carried out there. We did, me and a friend did actually get in contact with Mosaic, the landowners and the development, and asked about searching and things, and they said they were happy to go along with anything as long as the police did it and things like this, but the police at the time said no. Although at Andy Woolston home, when he took over, he did say he looked down some drains and things like that, but that wasn't really the search. I just meant, can you get some dogs in there just to give me a peace of mind, because I thought I was horrified at the thought to think that if a complex would have been built there, and say something had happened to Georgina there, and that complex, there was never ever going to, they wasn't going to knock it down afterwards too if they had more evidence. So we never got a search like that. But Andy said he looked down drains and things like that, and there were some underground tanks that they put a camera down, and that was it. I did speak to several people off the building site. They contacted me and they said, if it's more any reassurance to you, I've worked there and I can tell you that, the lorries that come and go, they're all loaded up and they're sort of weighed really, and they're sort of sold off to different areas, different places. So I'm sure we would have seen a body or body parts or whatever on there. He said,